Hello everyone, I'm Greg Otta with FedScoop TV, and I'm here at the Fed Talks 2015 conference, and I'm talking with Rafael Diaz, the CIO of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome, Greg. Thanks for being here.
So, before coming to HUD, you were actually the CISO for the state of Illinois, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Are there any similarities that you find between that job at the state level and what you're doing now for the federal government?
That's a great question, Greg. Yeah, there really are. You know, it's government, of course, state government, federal government, different magnitude of problems, but essentially the same problems. And in the state of Illinois, we were looking at how do we understand what our critical assets are, right?
Okay.
You heard Tony talk about that this morning.
Right.
You know, what are those critical assets? And we looked at it from a different perspective. Basically the same thing, but it's asking the question, where's our data? Who owns the data? Where's the data going? Where is it coming from? How do we better understand the data and understand that from a perspective of how do we put the appropriate controls in place to ensure that it's being secured?
So, for all CIOs on the federal level, FITARA is a big deal. Talk to me about how you're preparing with FITARA, the talk that you've had with your CFO, and going forward,
Sure.
how you see that unfolding.
Sure. FITARA is an amazing piece of legislation. I think it's really heightened the awareness of how IT is so critical in every agency. And you heard Marilyn Crowther talk about how every agency or every organization is an IT organization.
Right.
Well, every agency is an IT agency. We can't do our business without the right IT. And so it's really escalated the IT capability within the organization to the level that it needs to be as not just an afterthought, but something that needs to be integrated into every process that, every budgetary process, for instance, that goes on within the organization. So how does the CFO and the CIO better collaborate? How does the CPO and the CIO? And so what we've done is we've taken a look at our CXO operations.
Okay.
How do we best organize so that we are implementing FITARA effectively? And it's part of enterprise IT. As I talked about earlier, was that we're looking at enterprise IT, changes the relationships, talked about that. Well, it changes the relationships within HUD. So the relationships within the CFO and the CFPO, we've got a team together comprised of all these different organizations that are looking at the implementation of FITARA. We've done our self-assessment. I think we're doing pretty good. We've got a number of those capabilities already in place, and so now we're looking at how do we enhance that? How do we continue with that FITARA piece?
So, coming to you from a different vein, talk to me about the innovations that you have going when it comes to your grants system.
Grants. So we've not done a lot of innovation around grants.
Okay.
But what we're doing is we're laying the foundation to be able to implement some of those innovations. So we're looking at our underlying infrastructure and the capabilities that we have within that infrastructure to implement innovative solutions. And we're looking at how do we move to the cloud. We've already moved Office 365, our email, SharePoint, productivity suite is out in the cloud. And so that capability now is going to allow us to implement DevOps. The continuous development, continuous integration. How are we looking at what those functions are within the grant process and start to tease them out of those monolithic systems that we have in our grants environment and look at them and say, all right, what are these functions? How do we create microservices to discreetly identify those capabilities and implement those so that we can now have a continuous innovation on grant systems. Grants is one of probably the prime capability that we have at HUD. Quite a bit of money goes out to the local communities, to third parties, and so it is one of the areas that we're looking at intensely to be able to innovate.
Now, you've also talked about opening a digital services shop at HUD. How is that moving along, and where do you see that moving forward in 2016?
Again, it's about laying the foundation so that we can build on a new foundation.
Another part of that. Okay.
So last year, I started back in June, and when we're in June, we're saying, okay, we've got these contracts, we've got these limited capabilities, and I asked the question, all right, how do we start to build something new and transition off of the old? And what we started was what Gartner eventually called the bimodal operations, where you've got the sustained, stable environment, and then you've got this new innovative environment that you're moving to. And it's been a fascinating journey. And so how we're moving to that is how we're moving to digital services. So, but digital service is more than just a capability. It's a way of thinking.
Absolutely.
It's a way of behaving. It really changes the culture. And so if you look at it from an enterprise IT perspective, it has all those different components. It has a workforce component, it has a process component, it has a technology component. And as you pull those things together, those three together, you start to say, how does this change the way we operate within HUD? And how does this change our relationship with the program offices, our business partners, right? We need to be able, the Office of the CIO needs to be able to engage with the program offices at their business level to understand what their businesses are, so that we can then transition those user experiences, transition those processes, those end-to-end processes, and create a better user experience, better enable the workforce, and then enhance our relationship with our stakeholders with improved data and better processes.
So finally, what other unique challenges do you see HUD facing, and how have you tried to tackle them?
Well, HUD is working to end homelessness. HUD is working to open up access to home ownership to different levels within the economy. HUD is working to promote development in communities. So those are tough challenges. Those are unique challenges that require collaboration across the federal government, across HUD, and within the Office of the CIO. So how we're doing that is through these different capabilities. First and foremost, enterprise IT, and a workforce that understands that technology is critical to the operation of HUD, that technology is not just the disruptor, and I think that's a great word, but it's an enabler as well, right? Because it helps folks be more productive. And that's what we're looking at, is that how do we get the data that folks need on the ground to help those folks that are homeless? How do we get the data to be able to show lenders that, look, these folks are creditworthy? How do we get the data to be able to help communities understand all the assets that are going into a community to develop more innovative solutions for those communities? So it's a tough challenge, it's a worthy challenge, and it's a very exciting challenge.
Interesting. Well, I look forward to seeing how you progress with that. I appreciate you taking some time out to talk with us.
Thank you, Greg.
For all of our videos, you can check out our YouTube channel, and for more information, check out fedscoop.com. I'm Greg Otto. Thanks for watching.